John's come round to look at the situation around the black spot. And this is a test of cueing. Dead straight, stun run through for the black. Fabulous shot. Fabulous cueing.
Thing is, getting in wasn't the problem. First two frames, it was staying in. Just a couple of misses he was punished for. But we know that John Higgins is made of tough stuff. One of the hardest players who's ever lived, still, at the age of 43.
9.
When he won the Masters the last time it was staged at Wembley Conference Centre, he dished up against O'Sullivan in the decider with a 64 break to win on the last black. That's what you call bottle.
$16. 17.
You have to say the Reds are in an ideal position for the big one. That's maybe going a bit early. John will be more concerned with getting a frame on the board, getting back into this match.
$24. 25. $32.
Well, he wanted the red to the left middle, but this shouldn't be a problem. It's dead straight to the far left corner. Can stay on the black.
33. $40.
Well, I think that's the end of blacks. Off the reds, and up for the blue this time. Just be a little stun off the side cushion.
$41.
He's going to go into the pink here. It's imperative he gets a full ball contact on the pink. If anything, I would err to the left side as we look up the table from the black. Well, he's aiming down the cue ball. That tells me he's playing for the loose red first. And he's played it well. Lovely shot.
46. $47.
So you would think this is the big shot in this frame. Pot the black, get a nice split in the reds. Give himself a great chance. Yeah, played it perfectly. That's the way to play those shots. You stun into the end red, the left hand side of the pack. Here you see, with a little bit of stun, the cue ball comes off the cushion. More often than not, you'll land perfectly on a red. So surely, this will be John Higgins' first frame on the board.
$55. 62. 63. 70. 71.
The crowd applauds because that's the point where Ronnie Sullivan now needs a snooker. John would love to carry on and make a century break.
78. 79.
Well, he just focused really well, and we haven't seen the mistakes of the previous two frames, which really cost him dear.
$85.
Brings off the soak red.
86.
Counts down for the total clearance. Well, it's just gone wrong.
91.
So no century, but the main thing for Higgins is he has won a frame with a big break. That'll make him feel a lot better. Ronnie Sullivan made all the running and punished the early errors from. So one thing Sullivan knows about Higgins, of course he can beat him heavily, but he won't intimidate him. He's going to have to earn the victory.
John may be forced to take this red on down the cushion. He doesn't want to really. I'd much rather be playing a safety shot there. Forced to take it on. He's pretty close. Unfortunately for John, he's left Ronnie a couple of options. This first red at the bottom of the pack will open everything up. This could be a deciding shot in the frame right here. If this goes right, lands on the black. Wow. It was only the side on the white that kept Ronnie with position on the black ball. Let's see when it hit the cushion, the right hand side, brought it down the table.
Eight. Nine.
Well, you kind of already
30.
fear the worst for Higgins here. Guess though he just has to focus here in his chair because things can happen. Anyone can miss, and got to be prepared if he is to come back here.
$21. 22. 29. 30.
Well, just struck that to perfection,
37.
really. The action that was on the cue ball was just a joy to watch.
38.
You watch the cue ball here. Almost minimum effort. Almost like he was playing with a light white there.
$45. 46. 51.
Well, a shake of the head from O'Sullivan. Suddenly this is slightly awkward. Stretching on this as well. He's going to have to get the extension on. Well, taking the whistle.
52.
That's a completely different Ronnie O'Sullivan than that started his match against Stuart Bingham this afternoon. He didn't look really with it for the first frame and a half. At the moment he's prowling around the table. You can see in every shot he's given it 100% thought and attention. If he's an inch out in position, he's disappointed.
$59.
Yeah, well,
Ronnie
it
O'Sullivan.
was going well, but
59.
just ran out of position. And he's annoyed. I think he's got such respect for Higgins. Not only, of course, does he want to beat him, but he wants to play well in doing so. 59 the break, plenty still on.
Well, this is so much tougher than it perhaps looks on the screen. Such an acute angle. Brilliant shot.
Yeah, that was slow drag.
That was class.
Well, he's one of the best there's ever been at clearing up from this sort of situation. I mentioned the decider in the Masters in the World Final last season against Mark Williams in that final session. He made all sorts of miraculous clearances to make the match a lot closer.
7.
And this is not a straightforward shot to play, the way those 3 reds are in a straight line. Well, it's not as played, but at least he's got a pot.
12. $13. $20.
Oh, he's got a choice. 2 reds, both. Very tough. Watch how still John's head is when he plays this shot. Never moved. That's the secret to those shots. Inside the cushion. What a steal this would be.
$28. Yeah. 29.
And there's a chance. Oh, he's landed pretty straight in the blue. I was going to say if he could get close to this red and to the left of the pink spot, he might choose to play for the green. Because a half ball angle in the green would give him the choice of either to move in the red away from that right cushion or just dropping in behind it.
$34. $35.
No, he's played for the green. He's further away from it than he would have liked. But there is room to drop in, put that cue ball on that right cushion, leave the red to the opposite middle. Oh, he's just landed short, but it's possibly still available to this left
38.
corner pocket. Well, we'll know if it's in before John does. And it's there, right in the middle. What an effort this is.
I just don't think there's anyone better in the current game at dishing up under pressure than John Higgins. Done it so many times on big occasions.
43.
Yeah, Ronnie took on that double, didn't he, at the end of his break, thinking it was pretty much a shot to nothing. The opening red into the left middle was superb, and what a clearance this has been. Just this shot with extension, it never feels like your own cue when you put the extension on.
45.
That's why he's just overhit it slightly. You just don't get the same feel.
48.
Needs all 4 remaining colours.
$52.
Well, the setup, David, for a tremendous second session.
Yeah, and if he does now win this frame, it seems likely, he's got to be so happy with 2-2 because he was floundering a little early on. A couple of glaring errors let O'Sullivan in.
57.
Pink and black still needed.
$63.
No, it doesn't get much better than this.
As far as that, Ronnie O'Sullivan has a 96% pod success rate, as discussed in the mid-session interval, and yet he's got nothing to show for it.
Yes, I agree. I suppose if he was in his corner, you might say, well, he's got 2 frames to show for it, but he hasn't got a lead, crucially, to show for it. You're absolutely right. And it seemed unlikely that he wouldn't lead just before the mid-session interval. It seemed he was going to be winning 3 of the first 4. But these 2 have been around long enough to put what's gone before totally behind them. And we go again.
"52 years of professional experience combined." And almost £19 million won between the two of them.
Well, it's definitely nothing easy. Maybe there is a red to the middle, which some of them look quite narrow angles, but I don't think Ronnie's going to go for this one. Well, he's having a look now at finishing where he put his cue, so the red to the middle might be on his radar, but he'll have to take into consideration the fact that he might miss it. This is a difficult shot. That's a better shot than it looked, actually. Cue coming off the bunch, out for the blue. Well, that was lucky. That was lucky as well, because he'd gone off the side of the tack, which he didn't mean to.
6.
Just occasionally, both players have just misjudged a positional shot out of character.
7.
I think this table's played beautifully, but it is a different table to what we use all year round. The odd shot must play marginally differently until they get fully used to it.
Well, in the interview I did with John this afternoon, he actually described the table as being like glass. Now, for him to say that,
40.
he's played in the very best of conditions all around the world. Just shows how quick it is, how slick it is.
50. 20. 21. 28. 29.
'Well, I don't know for sure that he'll go into the bunch with all the reds that are out in open play. I think he's considering it. He knows he can get on a red. He might think it was worth playing off the side of the bunch and coming up the table for the loose ones as well. Dual purpose shot. That's a good idea. And he's on one. That was pretty well calculated, actually.
36.
'What I'd say about these two,
37.
Phil, is that when they play other players, there's a little bit of fear factor. Players playing Ronnie, they're a little bit in awe of him. An inexperienced opponent playing John, the same story. They know they're playing a snooker legend. When they play each other, there's no fear factor, a lot of respect, but they know that they can beat or lose to each other. It's all about what happens on the table, not in the mind.
43.
So evenly matched. Always have been.
44.
And you're right, it is a mutual admiration society. And rightly so.
As I was saying before, it comes down to just the odd ball run, the odd nudge. A frame
49.
like the fourth frame, which Ronnie should have won, really. Made 59 and got out of position. John cleared. Those little moments turn out to be the crucial ones. John now has got a bit of impetus. Interesting, that went through the side door. I always felt it would go in, that blue. Just made it.
55. 56.
The day in its totality has been something of a curate's egg for John Higgins. He made back-to-back centuries in taking that 2-1 lead over Ryan Day this afternoon. At 3-2 down, he looked very vulnerable. Scratched his way through frame 6, made a nice 66 break in the decider.
61.
Tonight, off to a slow start, now in top gear again.
62.
In that, actually, Neil, not dissimilar to Sean Murphy yesterday. Murphy had great spells,
67.
but also periods where he was ineffective. But there's nothing ineffective about this frame for John Higgins. That's
68.
frame ball.
Yes, it's about putting these sort of frames away in one visit.
$75. Nice. 76. 83. John Higgins, 83, and the frame.
Well, that was a shame. It looked like being a century. It wasn't. But for the first time this evening, John Higgins, since these two turned professional in 1992, the vast majority of their meetings have been keenly contested. We've had the odd one-sided match, but generally speaking, they've always been pretty good contests. This one falls into that category. You know, Neil, all the frames they've played in those 26 years, O'Sullivan's won 352 as it stands, Higgins 334. Hardly anything to choose between them.
Well, there is nothing to choose between them.
Well, this one, yeah.
They've both won everything multiple times, and they're still right at the top of their game after all these years. Amazing. Wow, he's getting some serious elevation. The extended spider there. Pretty good.
Five completed frames, and we're just going up to the 1 hour mark in terms of total playing time.
No attempt at a pop there. Just a containing safety. Straight away, Ronnie looking to be on the attack, looking at the red to the left of the bunch. If it goes in the middle pocket, but really, well, it doesn't go, so he's looking at something else. And a very quick look at that red, dangerously close to being potable to the middle pocket, but again, it doesn't go. There you see the bunch in the way. Actually quite a good shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's left John with a bit of a headache. Now he could drop into the bunch, which is negative, but at least he won't stick anything. Or get the cue ball somewhere in the left corner of the table, bottom left, so he doesn't leave that red near the left middle. Well, that's an error, big error. I don't know what he tried. I think he tried to pot the first red. If he'd have played the 100% safety, that wouldn't have happened. Maybe asked a bit too much of himself there.
One.
That's a good shot. The play on the blue. Very well controlled. I mean, he wanted the blue back on its spot, and that's what he's achieved.
Yes, you always want the high value colours where they should be, especially with the pink being in an unusual segment of the table.
This kind of shot would go unnoticed. Could be a nail biter this match, but Ronnie's already doing it. We've got a funny feeling this could go all the way. No, that red could come in play then. Under his arm, his bridge hand. sort of shot he would play left-handed, but if he did play left-handed, I think he'd make a waistcoat foul. So now this is a rest shot. A little bit more difficult than he wants.
Seven.
If you want an indication of just how tough a school this is, O'Sullivan's 3-2 behind,
9.
and his pod success rate is 95%.
10.
Higgins at 93 is more than respectable.
$30. 40.
We know that O'Sullivan's got
19.
a great power game, but he's also got finesse. And that's what's required on a
20.
table of this nature.
$27. 28.
Oh, chance to go into the bunch here. A little bit of a slow walk round.
33.
He'd love to get to the red over the pocket, but the other red's in the way. Yes. Does he play the plant, or does he play the red on the left in off from the other one? I don't think he's going to play the plant. It's the first red I think he's playing. Yeah. He didn't need the other red.
34.
It's actually quite a good shot. I don't think it was full pocket.
$39.
I guess the complete snooker neutral is
40.
just loving these two playing each other. Wants Ronnie to make it 3-3. John was showing some signs he could just pull away in this match. But I think John will be fully aware
47.
that this is a Ronnie O'Sullivan that's not
48.
playing badly himself. It's a very interesting match building up here.
Yes, and he seems totally invested in the contest. He's
55.
concentrating well.
56.
They will get a smattering of applause when this goes
63.
in, because it's the one for the frame.
64.
Yeah, it's just a question of how many.
Of course, O'Sullivan is moving ever closer to that magic, unprecedented 1000th century break. Some people are saying it could happen this season.
79.
Maybe it will happen next season. The only thing we can say for certain, it's going to happen at some point.
Thanks. So. 80. 87. 88. 93. 94.
Well, it made that look easy. It certainly wasn't. Yes, you want to see him get the century because, as you say, it just takes him one nearer to that magical 1,000.
99. 101. Foul.
A pity.
John Higgins.
But Ronnie O'Sullivan confines that frame to room 101.
3-3. These two giants, inseparable still. Welcome back to the Ricoh Arena here in Coventry. It's the second evening of the 2018 ManBetX Champion of Champions. And these two most certainly fit the bill when it comes to being a champion. What a day it's been, by the way, a veritable century break fest. We've seen 7 centuries today. Now, you should always compare like with like, so in snooker, one table invitational tournament. Let's talk about the Masters. The first 4 years of the Masters, 1975 to 1978, there wasn't one single century in any of those tournaments. Today, we've seen 7.
The red has not gone to safety. There's a gap between the brown and, of course, the green. You can get through.
One.
Oh, these tables have been very responsive, and shots like this, you've really got to judge them perfectly. Otherwise, we'll just race on and on. And Ronnie has landed it very nicely this time. It's a great shot to finish on the top red.
5.
That opens up a number of options.
Six. $13. 14.
That's excellent. Little flick from the first red.
21.
Finish on nothing there. Certainty to be on a couple of options. Now all of a sudden you feel the match could be swinging again. John having won 3 frames in a row. Ronnie with a century and now in first here. Never going to be much between these two.
29.
So if you can grasp the advantage back, you have to take it.
30.
Over the years, certain matches between the game's leading exponents sometimes haven't lived up to expectations. That's just the way it is. But this match most certainly is living up to expectations. The two old adversaries, the
38.
two gladiators with so much silverware, butting heads and providing great entertainment.
$45. $46.
It's a question of what goes here. There's reds that go to either middle pocket. So he wants to finish low on the bunch from here. Yep, I think he's looking at the red to the left middle. Just wants to land in behind it nicely.
$53.
And they'll go into the bunch and potting it as well.
54.
Well, that's okay, but it's not inch perfect on the pink. Didn't quite work out as he thought. Well, this is a big shot. No recovery blue. He's always been brilliant at that shot. When he first turned professional, he's looking those in for fun. He's still got it.
59. 60.
What a weapon that is to have in the armoury. As Neil said, it's always been there. And even now, you can rely on him.
67.
Just dig in the blue.
68. $73. 74. $81. $82.
Well, he had back-to-back centuries against Stuart Bingham. They could have another
89.
brace here, along with the one from earlier.
90.
A little nudge on the right-hand red.
$97.
Brilliantly, didn't he? Wouldn't drop it in or anything. Oh, magic. This is absolute magic. This match is just getting better and better.
106.
You have to say that Sullivan is scoring as heavily at the moment as he's ever done in his career.
There's no deterioration in his game whatsoever. His attitude is perhaps better than it was in his 20s and 30s.
112.
These are the golden days for O'Sullivan. Not the golden years.
115. $119.
1 year after Jack Nicklaus had taken Augusta National apart, Bobby Jones said to him, "Mr. Nicklaus, you play a game to which I am not accustomed." The same phrase applies here.
137.
Genius
Ronnie
work
O'Sullivan.
and genius back in the lead. Back-to-back centuries. The rocket really inspiring. Just because we as commentators sometimes run out of them. When O'Sullivan's in full flow. And also a big shout out to John Higgins. O'Sullivan, pot success rate 97%. He's only one frame ahead. Now look at that. 16 seconds a shot as well for O'Sullivan. That is rapido.
Well, there is a red at the bottom of the bunch here that John's looking at. That would be a mighty shot to play at this point. I think he, quite understandably, he's not standing for that one into the corner pocket, queuing through the bunch.
Well, there's an interested spectator, thoroughly enjoying himself. Luca Brissell, the Belgian who plays tomorrow. The last man in off the rankings. He was delighted when Mark Allen won the International Championship. It booked his place here.
Yeah, I mean, in a strange way, you know. I mean, obviously he won the China Championship last year, which he had to win something to get in there on the off the rankings, if you like, because it gave him a lot of points, didn't it? And, I'm sure he's pleased to be back. Beat Mark Selby last year here at the Rico. But he's probably watching these two Masters because he wants to just see them play, because he's a great player, up-and-coming player, but he probably knows he could also learn watching two of the greats of the game. That's another reason he's out there, I'd say, not just soaking it up. This is unlike O'Sullivan, but occasionally you just cannot find a shot, but just a container. Little wince from O'Sullivan. I wonder if he's left a possible double in the right middle from the red on the left. John's very good at them. It just might be, it's a glimmer of a chance. He's gone for it, but he missed it by a way. John's very good at those, but that was quite a long way out for him. Well, he played a shot like that actually on a red towards the end of the last frame, just before his century. Not only prodding the red, but just whipping the cue ball round off two cushions. Well, there's a real bounce in his stride at the moment.
8. Nine.
He's in the zone. On the back of 2 centuries, and in amongst them again.
And this is a man who transcends snooker. He's one of
16.
Britain's great sporting treasures.
70.
It takes a lot to win, but he wins in extraordinary style.
24.
And he loves this champion of champions. Before tonight, he played 17 matches in this tournament, winning 15 of them. Always gets a little irritated when the referee has to take some time putting the pink in the correct place, and it won't go back on its own spot.
32.
But Brendan Moore is one of the very best, and he wasn't slow, just going about his business.
Just a sign that things could get a bit
39.
tougher after this. Going into the bunch.
40.
There's not a particularly wide target from the black upwards, as you can see. If that's the shot he chooses, you have to play this well. Yeah, he played it pretty well, I thought, but you can always cling to a red. He's really
47.
angry, actually. He's desperate to keep the break going, but he can't do it.
Ronnie
Not a bad shot to end. Still just ruining that last shot. I don't think he played it badly. Just didn't land on one.
Very good white. Helped, though, by the red making contact with the blue.
Well, he can clap all day long, but he's good, but he's not good enough to play that shot. He went for the pop there. He knew the cue ball might come back towards the black end. Guiding the cue ball around the table was part of the shot, I agree, but he went for the pot. I think both players would recognise, despite Ronnie being 47-0 up in this frame, that the frame, it could still be won on either side, and if John won it, it would bring him right back into the match. Ronnie is still going to be very watchful here. He'd be happy for those three reds to stay there. All because he's in front. Oh, this is a real cueing shot. Slightly distracted by something in the audience. Well, John can get to this red. It's not much fun though. It's a long way away from it. Could go into the red directly beyond it. Well, he cued it supremely well and missed that red.
In the penultimate frame this afternoon against Ryan Day, he knocked in a really good red do or die to a baulk pocket and cleared up, then won the decider. That one wasn't quite do or die, but it was pressurised.
He just got the headache of how he's going to possibly win the frame here with those three reds all clogging up the bulk end of the table. Quite an unusual set of reds there. You wouldn't see him in that position. It just means that, well, I don't see how he can clear them here. Too many obstacles in his way.
Four.
He's looking at the target from the yellow one cushion to go into the reds, and if he does play it, I don't think he'll go into them really firmly. Just might want to just tickle into the reds here. Not quite as played.
6.
Not getting very far, is he here? Two reds with yellows. Hardly hurting O'Sullivan, that. Still got one red to the middle.
John Higgins, 6. One.
Well, that should be a frame winner.
That was such a good shot, wasn't it? Didn't really want to be playing it. But he can win it with the reds in open play quite comfortably.
7. Eight.
There's real silence in the audience. They're engrossed in this match. It's a lovely atmosphere. And if you're not enjoying this, then you're not really a snooker fan. It's been a great occasion. Ronnie O'Sullivan is getting the upper hand. That you would never say that he's over the line. Just starting to play really well. could have had 3 centuries in a row. He didn't get into the bunch very well, but he soon after went on to win the frame.
20.
You're right, Neil. It has been a great occasion, and because of the inevitable passage of time, these kind of occasions aren't unlimited. Eventually, they will occur
25.
no more. So while Higgins and O'Sullivan are still playing top-level snooker, just savour it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 25, and the frame.
Higgins concedes, and for the first time since 2-0, Ronnie O'Sullivan has a 2-frame gap. This time it's tremendous. A possible 3 frames left. John Higgins needs to win every single one of them. O'Sullivan on the verge of a semi-final meeting with the defending champion Shaun Murphy.
Well, it looked a bit scruffy, didn't it, that shot, because he thought that he could get the red to the middle pocket, but he hit the one on the way through. Well, he just put his hand up there. He's not had the worst of results from that. It's quite a rare mistake, actually, from him. Wow, that is not anything like what he meant. He called it much too thick. Really thick, actually. The red has gone further than the cue ball. So it could be up again here. And we mentioned the kind of scoring power that he's shown all day. Not in 5 centuries.
Five centuries in a day. Some of the lower ranked players, and I'm not being unkind here, just truthful, some of the lower ranked players don't make 5 centuries
4
in a season.
Let's name some names, Phil. Come on.
Me.
No, I was being cruel there. No, he's played brilliantly. And look, this game is about one thing. You've got to score when you're in. There's lots of other parts to it, but if you're not doing that bit, all the rest of it is not relevant. You can play all the best safety in the world, but if you don't punish when you get chances, no good to you. Ronnie is in the punishing mood.
Nine. 10. 50.
Well, of course, he'd love to. He's working around getting the black into play. That's what this is all revolving around. So it's all leading up to that.
60.
Well, the right-hand red is the one he's on. He may have wanted to go a bit further than he's finished there. I'll see how he works this shot. I think the referee, Brendan Moore, finishes respotting this.
22.
See if he can possibly get the black and the red away from each other here. Well, he played it the safe way and screwed up the table.
23.
It's not the worst outcome.
$27. 28.
There you have it. Within 3 shots, the black's on his spot. There's no reds anywhere near it. And that's why he's such a wonderful player.
35.
A wonderful break builder. And the next piece of the
36.
jigsaw is to get the bunch open.
And if he does it, the end will be nigh.
It's a very good split. He played that so well. It's all about getting the tee ball to zip into them.
When you think about it, you know, Sullivan is the embodiment
46.
of the title of this tournament. He is a champion of champions. That wasn't the best positional shot, but overall tonight he's played beautifully.
Yes, he just finished in between
47.
there, didn't he, on that red, but I feel he is literally 1 shot away from winning the match, and that is to get nicely on the next red. The point where nothing can stop him. And that could be the shot.
50.
He's worked hard at this break. It's not been simple. Black was completely out of the game. And he's an artist when it comes to break building.
Applause, but one more question to be answered.
Indeed. Well, a little rueful smile. He didn't really want to be knocking this pink in because he's got, I think he got centre ball striking, but it's a more pressurised shot than he ever wanted. This is match ball. Nothing can stop it. This has been a great display from O'Sullivan, you know. John Higgins put him under pressure, 1-3 in a row.
64.
How well has he responded?
$65.
As he gets older,
68.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, the bar seems to get higher.
$69. $75. 76.
Can the great man make it a 6th-century day? And bear in mind, both of his opponents have been world
83.
champions.
84.
I think John can have no complaints. I don't think he's played all that badly. He's been on the wrong end of sheer weight of scoring.
87. 89. 92.
That green was his 200th attempted pot this evening. He's knocked in 191 of them.
96.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Well, the crowd have loved this.
107.
It's been a truly amazing battle.
114 from the match.
Simply awesome from Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan. Deep into his 40s.